June the 19th, 43.
Right?
Yeah, I was born and raised in Old City. I enlisted.
Enlisted?
I really wanted to go in the Navy, but they couldn't take me until December, and the Air Force take me in June.
Do you want to be a pilot?
No.
No.
No, not really.
Yeah.
I really wanted to get in the electronics field. I went to tech school at Chanute Air Force Base, just about 100 miles south of Chicago. Heavy equipment mechanic.
Heavy equipment?
Fire trucks, towing tractors. Spent most of my time in refueling.
Where were you stationed then?
Ellsworth Air Force Base.
Where's that?
In South Dakota.
Welcome to Ellsworth. How are you today?
Throughout your Air Force journey, you will call many places home. Right now, that place is Ellsworth Air Force Base, South Dakota.
At that time, I think it was one of the only bases that ever set off a Minuteman that wasn't a test site like Vandergrift or Kennedy or something like that.
Right. Do you remember that at all?
Yeah, I had to chauffeur generals around. I had never seen so many stars in all my life. We had to go up the north to up to Fargo.
Right.
And bring cars back. What are they? GSA vehicles, light gray, I don't know what it was. And all these generals, they flew their own planes in, you know.
Yeah.
So we just picked them up the base ops, and wherever they wanted to go, we took them. And I was there till, I don't know, whether it was June 28th or June 29th. I got discharged in 65. Well, there were a few that didn't like it. You know, I was in SAC, so we had the big bombers and big refuelers, but all in all, hey, the guys were there to do a job.
Right.
You know, you do a job, that's it. If you don't like it, get out. If you like it, stay and re-enlist. My roommate, he re-enlisted, and his dad had a farm in Iowa. It was worth hundreds of thousands of dollars, but he stayed in the service.
Yeah.
A flash from Dallas. Two priests who were with President Kennedy say he is dead. A bullet wound.
I can remember where I was.
Okay.
I was sitting in the chow hall when the alarm went off.
Yeah.
Yeah, it just, first of all, nobody could believe it. You know, it's a joke. Well, it wasn't a joke when the AP started coming in there and hustling you out. And we went on alert. I don't know, we was 12 on and 12 off. Not very long.
John F. Kennedy died at approximately 1 o'clock Central Standard Time today here in Dallas. He died of a gunshot wound in the brain.
I like Kennedy.
Mm-hmm.
I thought he would have done, and he did do great things for the country. I learned a lot. South Dakota.
Mm-hmm.
I had never had much to do with the black race, you know. And out there, man, they was still segregationist. There was bars up there, you know. We do not serve black people and all this and that. But you work with these guys every year. You ate with them, you know. And I never had anything against them. I got discharged at what was back then as an airman first. That was a 3-stripe. I got one stripe when I got out of boot camp, and I wasn't allowed to, which made me mad. I don't know why, but you weren't allowed to finish boot camp till you started tech school. So then you had both going on at the same time. Well, then when I got out of tech school, I got my 2nd stripe. And that's when I got shipped to South Dakota. Well, there was guys out there with 3 years and still just had 1 stripe. I'm in the service 6 months, I got 2. You know, and they said, who do you know? I said, not a soul, I just went to tech school.
Yeah.
And I get discharged as an airman first, and I couldn't go any higher. Yeah, we got scared one time. Our refueling shop was right at the end of the runway. And that's where they done the B-52s. They would take them back there and run them up. run the engines up, man, it just blow, man, it just tear you up. My hearing ain't been right since, I don't think. But they had a helicopter, and it went up, and it came right back down. And it didn't use jet fuel, it used half gas. 115, 145 octane. And we had heard, you know, that something was going on. And the next thing we know, our shop's surrounded with military police with guns telling us to get up against the wall.
Whoa.
And they bought parts of this helicopter over that we had to tear apart. And it mostly was the segregation where if you happen to get water in the fuel, where it automatically trips and dumps the water till it gets down to the fuel and that. But we were all scared. I mean,
What were you scared of? What would you think was happening?
like it was our fault.
Oh,
You know, it ended up. I don't know whatever. Never heard any more about it. Never heard a thing. But when you get out and you look back, you think, boy, I learned a lot. You know, not just about the military, but about life in general.